Back into the country, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is at this hour briefing the media on how they will access the results from the National Tallying Centre, which is the Bomas of Kenya. The commission is expected to walk journalists through the technical processes of receiving and relaying results as they come from the regional tallying centres. Remember, the IEBC has already warned the media against premature broadcast of a final tally before a formal announcement by the commission. Let's bring in Duncan Khaemba, our senior political affairs reporter, who is on that trail for us. Khaemba, what exactly do we expect from this briefing with the IEBC?
Yes, Linda, as we speak, the commission is taking through senior editors that are here, basically mainly those from broadcast, of course, giving them instructions where designated area that has been set aside for the media, for those that will have to set up TV cameras, I think even radio, that they will be based at the National Tallying Centre. And then another issue that after that they will be briefing the nation will be the preparations. Remember that we only have 13 days to go before D-Day, and therefore, for the first time, they're opening up bomas that had been shut down to the public, basically to allow the commission set up its National Tallying Centre. So that is the kind of brief that we expect the commissioners, after they are done with the news editors, actually to give us that particular briefing in terms of the equipment that they've put in place, in terms of security arrangements that will be put in place both at the National Tallying Centre, of course, countrywide to all the over 41,000 polling stations, and of course, the persons that will be accredited. Remember, the National Tallying Centre is always the epicenter of any election, and therefore it is a place that usually is of high voltage. Therefore, they usually limit those particular persons that will be there. For instance, they've already indicated that they will only allow one national agent for every presidential candidate, and of course, maybe very few observers, the media the same, just to ensure that the whole place is not crowded. That is the kind of arrangement that we expect them to take us through. And on top of that, Linda, we understand there is a mock results transmission that will be conducted by IEBC on 31st before a final one that will be conducted around 4th or 5th, just to ensure that the systems are working come 8th of August. Linda.
The acting Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i is on record talking about that plan by NASA to adopt a polling station, and you've actually enumerated some of the measures that IEBC are saying they're going to put in place to ensure that the polling centers are not crowded. Where does that leave the adopt a polling station plan by NASA?
I think it is up to the commission, as it is the commission that is mandated to give guidelines. Of course, that is being guided by the Elections Act or laws that exist as far as matters to do with the elections are concerned. And therefore, perhaps it will be the commission that will have the final say on who exactly, or the number of people, or the kind of methodology. But remember, the same thing has elicited debate with, of course, NASA defending and saying that they know the number of persons that will be inside the polling station. However, they've been on record trying to explain that their strategy is basically to ensure that people familiarize themselves with those people within their neighborhood. They know who has been registered to vote where, and just to guard, to ensure that people, first of all, turn out and vote. And again, they ensure that strangers or people that are not known in the vicinity or their locality don't show up and vote. However, I think the fears could be far-fetched for both coalitions, because the commission has said every single polling station will have a maximum of 700 registered voters, and as such will be clear on the number of persons that will be expected per polling station. And therefore, perhaps it's just that the political class is engaging in all sorts of fights, because of course in politics scare tactics can work to the advantage of whoever. it favors, and therefore that could be the reason why NASA is on record singing the chorus of Adopt a Polling Station. On the other hand, of course, the government explains.
Yeah, NASA is singing Adopt a Polling Station, and then
of course you have the Jubilee side.
And then of course you have the Jubilee side saying let Matiang'i do his work. So, okay, listen, Khaimba, finally before I let you go, so at the end of the day, we will know at what point the media can broadcast the results of the election, right?
Yes, Linda, I didn't hear you quite well, but remember the ruling, there are two rulings that have been made, one by the High Court, another one by the Court of Appeal. That results as announced by the constituency returning officer are final, and as such, I believe, of course, if that will be the case, and every reporter is at every constituency tallying center is free to report, because or accredited persons are to report what is factual, and therefore a returning officer, in my own interpretation, decides that under constituency A, these are the results, and that is what the returning officer, IEBC, has announced, then nothing will stop reporters that are on the ground to relay the same, because basically they'll be picking and saying, IEBC has given figures A, B, C, D at this particular constituency, and as such, I'm not so sure why the media could be loggerheads on that. But maybe that is the reason why IEBC will also be guiding the media on where they will be able to get results that have been relayed at the constituency, just to ensure that the numbers that the media puts out there are factual and they are the same ones that exist in the system on the portal of IEBC, Linda.
Very important, Khaimba.
Very important. Very important, Khaimba. Thank you so much. Keep an eye on what's happening for us at the Bomas of Kenya. Let's now cross borders.